When do you think that you began to see the world begin to perceive you a little bit more as the Terry Crews that you truly are, which is a kind and very giving man? Because by the time I met you, that's who I met. Yeah. I didn't meet anyone with any kind of toxicity attached to him. I met a very gracious man. When did you become that gracious man? And through and through, not just presenting,
right?
Okay,
exactly.
And then when did the world begin to see you in that way? Because we all have these personas, and I always say, you got to figure out how you're being perceived, and then you got to figure out how would you like to be perceived.
Bevy, you're so right. This, I had set up an image. And it was Terry Crews Incorporated, okay?
Yes, indeed.
And you put all your good stuff in there. It's like, oh, man, look at him. He's such a family man. Look at him. Oh, he's just so wonderful. But deep inside, I had all kind of issues.
You talk about the porn addiction.
Porn addiction. I had cheated on my wife. I had done, and I had this background that, my external success had my internal had no match for my external success. So I left that up there because everybody loved the image.
Yeah.
And it was the image even I worshipped.
Yeah.
It was one of the things like, yeah.
It makes you money and it makes people love you.
Yep.
So what's not to love?
But when I started, first of all, when my wife left, okay, that was in 2010. And the best advice I ever got was my friend said, hey, man, I can't guarantee you're going to get your wife and family back, but you need to get better for you. And I went, now you understand, that's foreign concept.
Yes.
In my world, you do good things for cookies. You know what I mean? You work for sex.
Right.
You work for checks.
Right.
You do all that. I did good, and give me my cookies, give me my Scooby snack. Right. But just getting better to be better, huh? And all of a sudden, and you got to understand too, coming up in my community, therapy was looked at as crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, you can't cure crazy. They would say that.
Right.
And I thought, listen, my father went to a psychologist so that he could work with his alcoholism. The psychologist killed himself a week later. And I said, that don't work.
Yeah.
So I had in my mind this whole, I was like repulsed by any therapy. And finally, the church wasn't going to do it because let me tell you, all I learned in the church that I grew up in was shame. Yeah. And I grew up in the Church of God in Christ, and the whole thing I couldn't listen to. I couldn't listen to secular music, couldn't dance, couldn't go to the movies, couldn't go play sports, couldn't do that. All that, everything I ended up doing with my life, I couldn't do.
Yeah.
And it was all about you was bad, you about to go to hell, and you a bad person.
Yeah.
And so that shame was one of the things I couldn't overcome. I said, well, guess what? If I do bad things, I'm just being me. And when I went to therapy, and let me tell you, Bevy, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. I put a picture of me. I was probably 6 years old on my desktop. No teeth in the front, big front two teeth trying to come in. And I said, is he bad? Is he bad?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He just wants good things. I had good thoughts, good things. And I said, when did I become this person?
And we got to get back to him.
That's it. And at no time did I ever stop being that little boy. That was the revelation. It was like, hey, man, you can forgive him. Yeah. This little boy fell down. This little boy messed up. Yeah. This little boy took some wrong advice. This little boy got tricked.
Yeah.
And so, wait a minute. Straighten it out with him.